All right, let's get this started. What's going on, guys? We are coming in live across the groups, and hopefully, you guys are seeing this. And we're here for the first podcast episode of 2025. What is going on, team? How are we? I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful start to 2025. We're going to kickstart this episode in 2 minutes. And I think it's just going to be a really simple episode, but something that's going to give you food for thought for your journey this year. So, going to be recounting a couple of quick stories that have happened over today that really gave me some context, and I hope that you guys get some lessons out of this. So, guys, we're going to kickstart this in 2 minutes. Let me know if you're coming in live. You want to get in there and hashtag live to let us know that you're here. If you are watching this on replay, get in the habit of hashtagging replay in the comments so that we know that you've been here, you've got the juice, and you're loving the podcast. By the way, guys, if you're not already subscribed to the podcast, you can go across to Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, anywhere where you get podcasts, and you can download a copy of the podcast. There's some 360 or 70 episodes that you can make your way through, guys. So we're going to start this in 1 minute. Hello, Danny boy. I hope you're well, mate. I hope things are starting to warm up for you over there. Yeah, you're live, buddy. Hey, Tez, how are you, mate? Lovely to have your company here. Joss is here. What's going on, Joss? I hope you're good. Guys, don't leave me hanging. Make sure you say hi in the comments. Let us know that you're here. Hello, Jack. Live, baby, live. Yeah, this is a completely different live time to what we normally do, isn't it? It's a completely different live time. So first podcast of the year, and we are going to rip into this. So guys, if you have any questions at the end of this, certainly hang around and I can answer any questions. But apart from that, I think we are ready to go. I'm going to bring in the team on Instagram, and we're going to do this. Okay, so let's get this started. G'day, Renee. How are you, darling? I hope you're good and having a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, particularly to you guys in Australia, where it's probably, hey, hello, Ash, probably beautifully sunny, hopefully, and you guys are having a nice one. All right, guys, let's get stuck into this. On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is the Better Body Academy podcast coming to you with another episode. First one in 2025. Oh, I'm so excited to bring you another episode. So if you're coming to this live on Instagram, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I've still kind of got this like COVID voice hanging around, but we're working through it. Happy New Year. I hope the new year has started well. You know, what happens is we get to this time of the year and we're all excited for change, right? There's something about getting a fresh start to a new year that makes us feel like, you know what? If 2024 was shithouse, that's completely cool. I've got a fresh start. If you feel like that, like give me a silent head nod, and I totally understand where you're coming from because change is hard. So in this episode, I want to talk to you about how I've personally changed my life over the last 20 years. And when you're thinking about change, I think that most people, they want to lose fat. They want to lose 10 kilos today, right? And the problem is that you can get the weight off, but you can't keep it off because you haven't actually brought on a lifestyle. So I'm going to get straight into this. I'm currently in Hawaii, and we were moving between accommodations today. All right. And I was saying to Claudia, my missus, I was saying, oh, I'd really, really love a coffee. Okay, so we're looking around for a cafe on the drive before we get on the freeway, and I find a coffee shop, and I pull over to the coffee shop and walk in, and I said to the gentleman, hey, can I get a non-fat skim milk latte and something for cords, right? And he said, well, we don't have non-fat milk. We've only got full cream milk, soy milk, oat milk, and whatever the other one was. And of course, in and of itself, that's not the biggest deal, right? But I sat there after looking around for a cafe for 5 or 10 minutes and found a cafe that did coffee, naturally, but they didn't do the type of milk that I want. They only had full cream milk. And I looked at Claudia and I went, nah, let's just go. And I got back in the car. I didn't have my coffee that I was craving, but I thought to myself, that's fucking weird, isn't it? That's really weird. You were so hanging for a coffee, but because they didn't have low-fat milk, you just decided to not get one. And then I had this light bulb moment. It's not one big thing that makes the difference. It's the sum of the little decisions that add up over a period of time. Now, I'm going to give you another quick story. I was having a chat with our UK girls group this morning. And one of the girls said into the chat group, she said, I feel like I've always got to change my exercises because I get really, really bored. I was like, what do you mean you get bored? She's like, I just get bored doing the same thing and over again. And that made me think. I think a lot of people have this thinking that changing your life is going to be like interesting and exciting. And it's meant to be fun, and it's meant to be hard, and it's a product of you being motivated all the time. And it comes down to you just trying enough different things over the course of your lifetime to finally find something that works for you so that you can do it. And that's the one thing that changed everything. Do you guys think like that? Like, I'm just trying to find the one thing that works for me. I just get bored. And the reason I get bored in the gym is because I just don't like that type of thing. So I just try to do different exercises and you chop and change and you're always, this shiny object keeps making you make more decisions, which are different to the one that you made last week. Do you guys ever feel like that? The conversation that I had with the girls in our UK group was this: the truth about change is that it's fucking not very sexy. It's not very sexy at all. It's actually really boring. What do I mean by really boring? Well, if I think about my life, I get up at the same time every day. I eat the same thing pretty much every day. I train the same way pretty much every day. I dress the same pretty much every day. I do the same thing every day. Some people would look at that and say, that is a really fucking boring life. But the interesting thing about the conversation that I was happening was that I was texting that group while on Waikiki Beach in one of the most beautiful mornings that you would ever have on a Monday from the beach at 11 o'clock. Because I've created a life off the back of my boring, repetitive discipline over a period of time. Total unsexiness has given me the ability to have a life where on a Monday at 11 o'clock in the morning, I can be on the beach texting my clients back. So my question is this: is change meant to be amazing and fun and motivating? Or is it actually unsexy, repetitive, boring, the product of discipline, as in like it's 6 o'clock where I am and 8:30 where I am and I don't really feel like doing a podcast, but I'm disciplined. So I'm going to pull my camera out and do it. Is it one big thing, or is it the sum of a million things that you started to do? And an example of the million things is that, you know what? The difference between a full cream latte and a skim milk latte is what? 100 calories? But for me, drinking full cream milk is not in alignment with the person that I am. Why? Because that's just not something I drink. I'm sitting here drinking a 0-calorie sparkling water. I would never, ever, ever drink a can of Coke, full cream Coke, full fat Coke. I just would never do that. Why? Well, I can drink Diet Coke. Why would I drink this? The point is we're just constantly unwilling to do the repetitive, boring shit that seems unsexy at the time, when actually, guess what? It's the discipline and the unsexiness that gives you the fucking sexiest life possible. My theory is this, and if you've stuck with me with this podcast, I'd love you to have a think about this takeaway point. If you are really bored with your life, now, when I say bored with your life, what I mean is, are you bored in your relationship? Is your relationship just kind of, you're just like two ships in the night and you just kind of cross each other? Are you bored? Are you bored living in the same place all the time? Is your life boring? Like, do you have a sex life? Are you bored with your job? Do you kind of just go? I'm not, by the way, just to be clear, I'm not criticizing. I'm just asking you, are you generally bored? If you're generally bored and uninspired by the life that you're living, it would make complete sense to me that you would then find excitement and pleasure in food and alcohol. Because if you're just bored all the time and then you come home and you get to sit on the couch and go, well, fuck, I'm going to drink, or I'm going to eat high sugar, high fat foods, because it makes me feel like I'm just not doing something boring. So in the converse, if you are willing to do a budget, a financial budget, if you are willing to, rather than hope that you win the lottery one day, actually just start investing. If you're willing to do the boring shit, like do a course or read a book, it is that willingness to do the boring stuff that requires discipline that gives you the freedom to have a fucking exciting life. Sometimes it's hard when you're in the grind, isn't it? You're in the grind and you're getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you're going to the gym and you're following the diet and there's part of you that wants to have a blowout. I get it, totally. But you don't. You don't, because you've got discipline. And when you have enough discipline over a long period of time, guess what? Those little decisions that you make, like having the low calorie beer, the low fat cheese, the fucking low fat latte, the no sugar Red Bull, over time, that decision making process compounds incredibly to a point where you find yourself living a life that you probably never at a point thought possible. The way that I see it is that you're always going to have to make small sacrifices if you want to get to wherever it is that you want to get to in your life, whether that's being in your relationship, whether that's being in your career that you want, whether it's having the body that you want. But if you keep making the short-term exciting decision that lacks discipline, you'll never, ever get to where you want. And you'll keep saying to people, don't you just want to quit this diet? Don't you want to just like eat something? Like, don't you just want to eat free? What do you want to track your nutrition for? Like, that's fucking boring. Don't you want to be free? Yet people like me are sitting there laughing, going, you don't fucking get it. The discipline that I have gives me the freedom to be on a beach at 11 a.m. on a Monday working. See the difference? Guys, this has been the Better Body Academy podcast, the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable programs. I hope that this episode's got you thinking, and I'll stand around and answer some questions if you want. All right, guys. My best podcast ever? Nope. Why? Because I'm rusty. If I'm honest, did you guys notice that I actually missed the intro that I always do on the podcast? I actually forgot it. I actually forgot the intro to my own fucking podcast. It's been 10 days since I've done one. But Does this hit a note? Like, it's just like, it doesn't need to be sexy. Like, people, let's talk about nutrition. People think, oh man, like, I really want to be having, like, master chef like meals. But the reality is, like, those meals are just, that's not how healthy people eat. That's not how it works. Healthy people eat in a way that is disciplined, and the same thing over and over and over again. And